So I've seen a lot of these crazy video game prototypes apparently only build using something called wipe coding and AI. Also, Claude has released its brand new 3.7 Max model, which claims to be maximum intelligence and all these buzzwords. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be making videos with a crazy thumbnail, stuff like that. This is not one of that. I have 13 years of experience coding in Java. We're going to be making a Minecraft clone, something you guys are familiar with, and I'm going to be keeping it extremely real. There is not going to be any hype. There's going to be step-by-step what I'm doing. I'll explain everything without anything crazy. And the ultimate question is, can AI build a Minecraft clone? And if yes, what's the cost? How long is it going to take us? Without any further ado, let's crack into it. So as you can see, I'm using the new Claude 3.7 Sonnet Maximum with thinking. What I'm going to be starting with is just a simple prompt to set up my entire project structure. Again, I want to make this video for beginners. If you don't have much experience in Java, you should, and I'll explain why in a second. But let's just try to push this new AI model to its limit and let's see where it's going to break. So I just told the model I want to make a simple Minecraft clone in Java using Maven, so I specified the language and I also specified the build tool that will compress all of the source code into one single jar file, which is called Maven. And I also told the AI to build a plan, to write a plan.txt first before it starts to build the whole thing. Generally speaking, from my experience, making a plan file is generally better because the AI tends to forget and tends to skip through different things. And if you throw too many things at it, it will break. So if it has a file that has numerical stages to work through, it is generally better at bigger code bases. Awesome. So it literally works through the entire prompt on its own. I see a big issue. It skipped the plan file and it directly went into making the main class and making the game class. So as you can see here, this is the source code. Again, typical Maven structure. It has a main folder in which you have actual Java classes, and then it has resources, which is not yet delivered. I'm pretty sure it can put some textures in there or maybe some txt files or language files. And then you have the POM file, which is the main file that gives Maven instructions on how to compile the project into a single jar. And as you can see, it automatically even picked the dependencies or libraries that this program will use, and LWJGL is the lightweight Java game library and is actually also being used by Minecraft itself. So it's pretty smart to figure that out. So far, the only thing I'm missing is the plan file. Oh, now it looks like it will create the plan at the very end. I actually can't see how long it took, but I'm gonna print the time on this video based on the actual recording, but I feel like it took more than a minute to build this whole thing. And as you can see, we have a block here. We have different types here. Okay, so that's a very primitive representations of block. I think we may as well go with a class here instead of just an integer in just a few minutes or moments. And then we have a chunk here, and it figured out that it's going to be a 16 size, just as Minecraft has. Very extremely basic implementation, but good enough for the first prompt. We got world here. I don't see any support for any entities, but again, that's just the first prompt. And then finally we have the game here, which I supposed, yes, when I launch it, when I double click the jar, then it's going to initialize, going to start a window. So I should see something opening on my computer. All right, let's click accept all. And let's just see what the plan said. It says that plan 1 here, phase 1, and it's fun enough, it actually even ticked these two boxes. Very simple. I'm going to tell the model to finish phase 1 and let's see how far it's going to go. Previously, last year, when I told the model to finish phase 1 and there were multiple things like that, it was really bad. But this is, since I'm using the Claude 3.7 Max, it is supposed to use the entire context window, which is 200,000 tokens, which in theory should give the model the awareness over the entire code base that we have, plus much more. So it, in theory, if my assumption is right, it should make this right. And something that I noticed in the different phases, this is quite advanced. If we're going to go into procedural terrain generation, biomes, trees, vegetation, underground caves, and water, Jesus Christ, it's going to be a massive code. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to make some edits to these things. screw it, this is the AI, I want to see how far we can push it. So I literally just wrote down, keep it minimalistic, keep it simple, don't implement any water physics, just spread it like Minecraft Classic did. If you don't know what Minecraft Classic did, if you broke a block next to the water, it literally just filled the block next to it. Super simple. People used to flood the entire map by just mining blocks around the water, but for simplicity's sake, let's roll with it. And then I deleted the weather cycle. Not really interested in that. So that's interesting. It even said, let's create a sample texture for the blocks. Very curious about the texture. Previously, I don't think we would get any textures here, and I can see that in fact there is no texture here, but at the end it actually updated the faces here. For some reason it deleted what I've put here, so I can just reject this. This is what I love about cursor, is that you can go and you can just manually approve the different things just like that, accept all. And then when it comes to the texture, you did not create any texture. Let me know what kind of file I should put there, and I will. So I'm just gonna ask the model to help me understand what kind of texture it needs, because I have no idea. And I guess we're just gonna go to internet, download some texture, put it there. Interesting. So it needs the dirt, grass top, grass side, and stone. Cool. So let's just go with this Ashen 16x texture pack. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up the zip, go to assets folder, and then if my memory is not broken, I think we should check the blocks somewhere in the textures block. There we go. And then it needs the dirt texture. You know what? There's just so many. I'm just going to copy all these crazy blocks here. Just Windows search. There we go. I'm going to paste the dirt block. That's how it looks. Okay, that's decent. And then I'm going to do the same for these. There we go. So now that that's completed, I have made some changes to the plan file. Please do not change them, only cross items you have completed. Let's continue. I'm going to tell it explicitly not to edit my file. Let's see that if it's going to respect that. And a lot of you guys are interested in procedural terrain generation stuff. So I did not delete that intentionally so that we can see what it will generate. And as you can see, it already starts to build the noise generator and terrain generator. It's pretty damn cool for first trial. You'll notice that these classes are generally short. And so historically, this has been limited by the context window, but now that I'm using the Claude 3.7 Max with thinking, I was hoping to get a little bit longer class so that the model can really max out its awareness, its memory. Looks like this is not the case yet, but let's see how far we can push it. So my first notice since switching to Claude 3.7 Max, it's quite slow. It's slower than the previous model. I guess that's just something we have to cope with for a few months, but it is very intelligent and it has very good awareness. Doesn't make so many mistakes, because what I've noticed previously, it would go and it would the cursor had to fix itself and the chat would get jammed, and then it would say like, oh, sorry, we've made a mistake, let's try one more time with a more focused edit or stuff like that. Or it would simply run out of the 25 continuous edits, and then I would have to click a button. These edits seem to be complete, and they so far haven't tested it, but knock on wood, they seem to be pretty good. Yeah, but it did put the new things into the plan file, and I told it explicitly not to, so I have to reject it again. Oops, I guess we have to wait a few more months for a model that doesn't do that. Now it says, finally, let's update plan.txt to mark our progress. Fingers crossed it's not going to put the damn weather there once again. And sure it did. Look at that. Weather effects. So I don't understand from a technical standpoint what's going on. It looks like something to do with the cache. Maybe it scanned the plan and maybe when I change it, I delete it, it doesn't get updated. No idea. First red flag, right? Still doing these things. So, not perfect, but that's what we have in 2025 so far. You know what? I'm gonna stop here because I don't want this video to be too long. So I'm just gonna tell the model to finish with phase 3, do it minimalistically so that I can join and walk around the map. That's all we need. All right, so welcome back. There was a small cut because I waited for all these crazy prompts to finish. And so far we've came to phase 3. So this is all completed, and I told Cursor to finish everything so that we can join and play. Then I've opened up my Eclipse environment, and I simply wanted to launch the game from the debugging console. However, it crashed. So what I've done, I've tried upgrading these dependencies. I've also updated Java version 2.21, and now I'm simply working with Cursor. And I simply told it, I attempted to run it in the debugger. I got this message, and then I'm just gonna say, I'm on Java 21, can you help me update? And let's see how far we can go with this. And there we go. Now we can see the limitation of AI. So it actually downgraded these versions for no apparent reason. And I think they shouldn't really fix this issue because it's annoying, as we've seen in the plan file. That is one thing that is ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy these two, and then I'm gonna accept these modifications, and then I just copy over my own. There we go. And then it started to over-engineer it. So it also added a classifier here. I'm not really sure it's needed. For some reason, it bumped up the compiler version, enabled preview. I don't think that's necessary because Java 21 is very stable now, but okay. And then there's a dependency plugin, okay. And then the execution plugin, I'm not really sure about that. Oh, if it's needed much at all. And then it created a custom launcher and applied JNI compatibility fixes. This is over engineering. Very curious about that. I would say this is not needed. But again, I think Claude has been trained down to 2024, but in 2024 we already had Java 21, so I don't understand what's going on here. Let's try again. Let's accept all. Let's go to Eclipse. Let's just reload everything and then head over to game and let's launch it. But actually we can't because we got some compile issues. First time. What's wrong with this? Preview features enabled. Well, I guess it's because of this preview. And we totally don't need that because Java 21 is more than enough. There we go. And now Eclipse is failing to render the font, but at least it does compile properly. Note the amount of warnings, by the way. Yeah, so a lot of unseen fields, a lot of imports that shouldn't be here. Okay, I mean, you know, I can clearly see the limitations, and Claude has a long way to go, but okay, let's do again, another trial. And it closes back again. Now the warning is gone, but it does closes immediately. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say the exact issue that I'm having, and let's see how many attempts it's going to take to fix it. Great, so I told Claude that the window opens but suddenly closes. It literally added a 1 second pause, and it even justified it to observe the console output. Well, there is none, my friend, because at this point here, we are just starting the program, so completely useless. I had a good laugh when I seen the thread being slapped for 1 second. I had a good laugh with this. Totally not needed. Oh, great. It even tried, let's run the game and see if our changes fix the issue. So this run file, I don't think it would actually run the game. I see that the build is in progress. You know what? Let's stop the madness here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run it in Eclipse. I actually did. And then I noticed that we have a very basic null pointer exception. So something that a newbie programmer could solve. Yeah. So basically there is no block at these locations, and apologize, I don't know why Eclipse is playing games with me with the font issue, but I think we can see exactly what's going on. So quite a newbie mistake, super disappointed, but let's see if it can fix it. Wait, so let's fix the tree generation by putting a try and catch block to silence a problem instead of fixing the problem? Are you kidding me? Give me a break. I mean, okay, well, that is a good fix. But if that is a fix, then I'm canceling my subscription, guys. Like this is terrible. And you know, I do hope that they've trained the model on better code base. I really hope that they sort of increase the standard on every update. But that is just ridiculous. You should never hide. Problems by catching the exception and then just printing, whoa, that there is a problem, or some, terrible programmers, they just don't do anything, and the program just fails silently. Yeah, but anyways, I'm not giving up hope. As you can see, slowly I'm getting more and more disappointed. As the more we progress through the video, I guess the level goes down of my excitement for this new update. But let's see how far we can go. Okay, and now it's getting crazy. It ran the bad file, and then it tries to fix the bad file. Oh, and now I actually fixed the bad file. There we go, Jesus Christ. So now we're here in the game. Wow, look at that. That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. So, I mean, it took 15-20 minutes to build. Okay, interesting. So there is no textures and everything is black, but at least it's working. I guess if I press escape, it says done. There we go. So let's fix that. And then I press stop, and it tried to simplify further by creating a simple test app. I don't think that's the way to simplify, my friend. So I had to force stop this madness, and I'm gonna type the problems that we faced, and let's see what it does. Oh wow, what is this? Look at this. We're just flying through, and the terrain generation looks, I mean, it's better than last time, but it's still broken. This is a joke, and there's a huge spam of errors in the console. So let's do it again, and I'm gonna give it exactly 5 more trials to see how far we can go. Now run the game again. I've made several defensive fixes. What are defensive fixes? In my I've been working with Java since 2012, so 13 plus years. I've never heard that defensive fixes word. Whatever that is, my hopes are pretty down right now. Let's launch it. Let's see the progress. Okie dokie. So first of all, what is this? Jesus. Alright, so I just kept jumping out of that mess. And now I'm actually floating in midair, and there's no inventory. So the HUD is not working. I assume those were supposed to be trees. I mean, this is a joke. At least we can rotate, right? At least like the box is done, and I see the little X there, and the camera is rotating. Whoops, and now I'm falling down. Oh my goodness, I'm just falling through map. All right, 4 more fixes to go. All right, that was a big one, and I'm trying to think as a beginner would. So when I'm typing these prompts, I'm like, also the HUD is not working and showing anything. Where's my inventory? Is that broken too? So I'm trying to like use the beginner words just to, test these AI tools as somebody who doesn't have that much experience. From my experience, prompt engineering is very important factor. Let's be honest. If you know exactly what to put in it, typically it performs better. But also, let's be honest, most people have no idea what to put in it. So let's just simulate that, a normal person's experience, and let's see what it did. I'll fix the issues. First, let's fix the texture loading. Okay, so that done a bunch of stuff here. I wonder why it wasn't before, but it's okay. And then it seems to do something with the loader. Reaches for the textures again and again. So I see some code duplication, but okay. And then the game renderer is going to use this get active texture. Okay. I can't really visualize if that's going to work or not, but so far it looks like, wow, there's a lot of different changes. Okay. And then updated the plan, and there we go. The freaking weather and crafting effects are back. I think every single time for the rest of humanity, when this file will be updated, it's going to be placed back. Whatever, we just have to deal with it. Let's accept it. Let's go to Eclipse, and let's actually try installing this project full, including all the natives and everything. Let's actually see if the natives are here. So if you guys don't know what that is, those are DLLs specifically for different operating systems. Whoa, this is not Java code, this is actually C code or C++ code, and they help the graphics library to connect with your drivers so that it operates faster, it's more efficient. Let's run it, and there we go. Okay, so still not good. Now the terrain gen is completely messed up, and I see these huge voids. How many attempts do we have left? 3. I don't think it's gonna, I don't think anything magical will happen in these 3 attempts. Let's just stop it here then. So when I started this video, when I saw that the new model is out, you know, my excitement was really high. Like, wow, it can use the entire context window. It's, you know, whatever cursor says, maximum intelligence, context, and thinking. And you're paying 5 cents for every question. I don't know about this, guys. I noticed that it is very volatile. Some languages are really good if you tell it to build a Node.js application or a Vite application, specifically front end, tends to be really good. Like, they've spent a lot of time probably fine-tuning it. As we've seen with Java, specifically with building 3D graphics, not really good. I don't know what kind of magic these people on Twitter are pulling, showing all these crazy video games that they've built using AI. As a beginner, I don't think there's much chance. Maybe with a simpler game, maybe with a game that does not require this library. Maybe with a 2D game, right? We could go further. We could, I guess, make a prototype that is at least playable. And yeah, so let me know in the comment section what's your experience, specifically for Java. If you've built a game online using AI, let me know that as well. I'm going to be very curious. Now, if you want to learn the basics, because obviously you need to know programming today, if you're thinking to do some wipe coding, I am sorry to disappoint you, but I think it's horse shit, and I think it will continue to be, at least for this year, maybe the next one as well. It's very slow. It's just a way. I wouldn't say it's a complete waste of time, but you need to know fundamentals. And I actually have a full school called mineacademy.org where we teach people not only Java programming, but we combine it together with Minecraft programming so that we teach you how to build stuff within Minecraft, Minecraft plugins, Minecraft mods, system administration as of recently. So you can check the link below in the video, description to learn more if you are interested. And I still think it's a great idea. I think it's very important that you go into learning the core fundamentals. And yeah, and once you do, you can play around with it. Maybe you can be a little bit more specific with the prompts. My prompts were terrible, but again, I just wanted to do them from a beginner's mindset. Of course, I'm not going to do some advanced prompting that nobody can understand. I think the code was, I would give it a rating, maybe a 5 out of 10. I've seen a lot of bad practices, but I've also seen, you know, some of the bigger design changes it did wasn't that bad, but I wouldn't give it more points than 5. And again, it goes down into the prompt engineering. But long story short, you need to learn the basics. Okay, don't try to do any wipe coding for a fully functional app. You can do wipe coding for a front end, like a website design kind of thing. It works there. Pretty sure they will figure it out. I'm pretty sure they will crack the code with, you know, 3D video games in the coming years. But by that time, I think it will be too late for you to start learning, you know, Java. I think you will get so much advantage if you master these coding languages right now, and you will be able to operate AI as an early adopter. So while I was editing, I forgot to tell you guys how much I paid for this game clone, if you will, even though it was disastrous. I think I made a couple of mistakes when I tried to make it, but whatever. I actually got a hard limit. It says, please increase your spending limit. And I logged in here, and I was actually pleasantly surprised, because don't be scared that you see $200 being used. This is actually for a GPT 4.5, which is expensive as hell. I've actually paid less than $1 for this. So this entire video production costs were less than $1. 19 Claude 3.7 Thinking Max requests at 5 cents per each request. So very, very reasonable cost. I mean, reasonable to the point that we really don't have anything reasonable, so you get the point. So not really reasonable, but reasonable. Hope you enjoyed this video, another AI preview. I'm really passionate about following AI this year. I think the development is pretty fast, but there's also a long way to go. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Take care and subscribe.